I recently got my hands on the brand new Kirkland Signature driver. This thing sets you back $199 or £157. Just what driver can I get here from Golf Clubs for cash for £157, and how will it compare to Costco's very own offering? Let's jump inside and let's see what driver we can get, because I think there's a little bit of a deal to be had, and I also think it might perform a little bit better, unfortunately, than Costco's own driver. So I'm pretty sure there are loads of drivers in here that we could get for that price. Now, I did actually quite enjoy the COSTCO KIRKLAND Signature driver. When I did test it, it wasn't that forgiving, but if you can get the strike just out of that high toe there, I found it was pretty good for the price. So I'm sure when this does eventually come to the UK, a lot of people will be quite interested in trying it. The head cover's a little bit tight though. That's probably one of the worst things about it. So let's have a look at what tailor-made drive we could get, what ping drive we could get, and potentially even looking at some of the more expensive stuff, but second-hand, i.e. PXG, Honma. Could you get a mega expensive driver for the price of that? So £157, what can I get? You can see there's loads of sales on here as well. So Callaway Rogue, that's just out of it at $239. We have Srixon Z, that's £69. Some of the stuff you can get here is ridiculously priced, and I think there might well be a driver in here that will blow the Kirkland out of the water when it comes to ball speed, when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to overall value as well. Because let's face it, if you are buying a driver from Costco, you are very value driven. Just like me, I'm a Yorkshireman, I don't want to end up spending a load of money, especially on something that maybe doesn't work as well as it could do. So let's kick things off with Cobras. And if we start with potentially something very, very affordable, such as the F9. The F9 was a driver that was the people's driver. This was a really good price even when it was brand new, and we could potentially get this for $179. So we're almost there already with a Cobra F9 driver. What else do we have in stock here at Golf Clubs for cash? And I'm finding this really interesting already, because I certainly feel like there's going to be value here. I've just seen a Cobra driver that does come in under the budget of £157, the Cobra King F8 driver, so the generation before the F9. You can see this one does come in at £145.99, so you would have some money for some golf balls as well. So that's the first option we will slide into this nominated bag here. Mizuno bag, lovely bag that actually. But also I've come across the Ping stand. Now, Ping are well known for exceptional value drivers, and you're not going to get a G400, you're probably not going to get a G410 driver for that price, but I'll tell you now, there's a great driver here again, which I think will come under that budget of $199. Remember, you can get these shipped worldwide as well, $135.99 for this great condition Ping G25 driver with the Alta shaft in there, so you can go in the bag as well. Guys, how many drivers are we going to get in this bag from different brands for less than the $199 that Costco would be charging for their driver? Remember, Costco's driver does have adjustability, it does feature that titanium face, and it also features a back weight for no adjustability, but just for enhanced MOI. Chris, what are you looking at? Well,
I was looking at my old driver,
G2, how much would that be?
The first driver I ever had, it was $199 new.
New, so what's it going to be now?
That was 15, 20 years ago. What have we got?
$49.99. There is more room in the kitty. Can we get a G20 for less? Because they were a great driver, the G20. That's got a Diamana shaft in there as well. And that, 116. So you could also have a G20 driver. I know that's a little bit older than the G425, but still an exceptional driver. And this one, also a bad head cover to get off, but very, very good condition. That's like pristine condition. Beautiful. Right, let's have a look at, now Titleist isn't necessarily a brand that you would think would be exceptional value, but I think if you start going to the slightly older stuff, maybe 917, I'm thinking more maybe 910 or even 913, because the 913 range was fantastic. A 915 there, D3 with a white shaft in it and a green grip, 106.99. Now this is where things start to get a little bit silly, because this was an exceptional drive. You can see this one's well worn, it's well used, but it's still going to perform pretty well for the price. So 10.5 degree, the same loft as the Kirkland driver. You do get an adjustable shaft here as well, so you can change lie angle and face angle there, and a pretty good shaft in there that I believe is an Aldila 70 gram white shaft. and a pretty new Golf Pride grip as well. This bag's starting to fill up really quickly, a lot more quickly than I anticipated it would. Really looking forward to seeing what other drivers we can get in here, especially when we go over to the TaylorMade stand, because TaylorMade drivers have been performing exceptional for quite a while, haven't they? Can we go newer with the Titleist? Because can we go maybe like TS, TS2, TS3? The TS3 driver, I don't think this will be 164. Oh, that is so close to being, oh, that is like a couple of quid away from, that was one of the first drivers I got fitted for, being a YouTuber in brackets. That, can we get maybe one in slightly worse condition? What's this one? Hazardous shaft, 169. These are really, really good value, exceptional value when you look at just how much the Kirkland driver is setting you back. I'm going to put that back. Can we find one? You're just looking really for something that's a little bit worse for wear. Let's have a quick look. There has to be one here that is 159 with £2 off. Titleist TS2, again, not great condition, but if you are looking for a driver that performs exceptionally but maybe isn't in the best condition, that's Chris, it's £2 off. £2. What about graphite design shaft? TS3, exceptional condition. This one isn't going to be in range. 299. To be fair, the shaft was like a £300 upgrade back in the day, wasn't it? So I think I'm gonna have one more go. Obviously, you can go online and check all these as well, probably filter it a little bit easier. 169, we're just a little bit too far off for these, trying to get into the TS range, but you can see what we are starting to build up here. Let's keep going and let's go. I'm not gonna go Mizuno, because Mizuno have only really just started making good drivers, I think. The drivers of old weren't overly great. I mean, what can you get for the price? How much would a Mizuno EZ driver set you back? 82 quid. You see, I don't want something that's mega cheap. I want something that can potentially help with your game. Now, Callaway have made good drivers for a very long time. We have £157. What about a Callaway Epic Flash driver? Now, this, with a hazardous shaft in there, the Sub-Zero version with the move away in the back, it's just over, it's £171, but you can see the value, the epic value, you could say, that we are getting potentially with that. I don't think we're going to get Paradigm. Could we get a Rogue? Rogue were a really good driver, and they still feel like they were fairly current, weren't they? 123, 123 quid for a Callaway Rogue driver, 9 degree. That's got the Synergy shaft in there. I think we can do better though. Looking at the value of that, I mean, to be honest, if anyone wants a kind of budget driver, they were really, really good. Danny Willett still used that like up to last year. Can we maybe, oh, we're going to drop it. It's going to be worth a bit less when James has finished. Can we potentially go even a little bit newer? You really can see just how vast this is looking. Well, that's bang on the nose, that's on the money, and it is a hazardous Project X black shaft. Don't tell me it is. How good value is that? This bad boy is going in here. So we're starting to build up a bag of different brands that you can get for that price of the Kirkland. So if we now draw our attention to the TaylorMade element of this video. Now, TaylorMade is a really interesting one because for me, they've been making probably the best drivers in the last 10 years. They've been really, really good, really, really consistent. I didn't quite get on with last year's Stealth 2, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be great for this challenge, because potentially they're going to have held the value a little bit more. So you can see we're going right from kind of the R1 era, the RBZ era, right through the R11. I mean, what can we get? Say an original Stealth for. An original Stealth with a Fujikura speeder shaft is going to set you back 271. So, okay, not bad, £100 more than the budget. So a little bit more than you kind of want to pay if you are matching up with a Kirkland driver. What about a Sim Max? Because the Sim Max was the club before the Sim 2, obviously, and before, what have they got? 181, not bad. 10.5 degree, a lovely Ventus red shaft in there, but that's that is literally £14 too much. So if you're not for £14 and you don't lose many golf balls, maybe that would help you. So Sim is out of it. What about an M3? M3 was the club for me, which I really, really enjoyed testing. You had all the movable weights, you've got movable loft, Cali shaft in there. I think this shaft is pretty new, because I think the shaft is maybe newer than the head. How much we found it. £164. That leaves us £3 spare, and you can really see where we're going with this. We're trying to get as close to that budget of the Kirkland as possible. Guys, we're going to pick one of these drivers to compare against the Kirkland, so make sure you do get in the comments below and let me know which driver you want me to take back and test. And you may be wondering why something like this is so affordable, and you can see that it's being used. It's got a couple of kind of sky marks on there. A lot of people would not like that. A lot of people wouldn't want to buy a club like that, but it really is reflected in the value, isn't it? So if you want a club that's going to perform really well with a fantastic shaft in there, maybe sometimes you might just have to accept it's not going to be brand new. And if you're really not bothered, 50 quid or less, there's plenty to have a go at in there as well. But we're going to stick with this. I don't know why, to be honest, I don't just move this bag a little bit further over, because I'm doing a lot of leg work now. But so far, all these drivers you can get for less than the Kirkland signature driver. So what else could we potentially get? We've gone for most of the big brands now. We've got a couple of options from Ping. I think it's going to be the G25 that potentially is going to be the winner of that. I got a little bit carried away with the G20, but we'll leave you there for now. I will put you back, I promise. We've got a Cobra option, a Titleist option, a Callaway option, TaylorMade option, and of course a Ping option. So we've got a lot of big bases covered there. Let's take a look at some of the options that maybe you might not think about going for, but potentially could hold some great value, because it's like anything expensive. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of a knock in value, and the second person to buy it sees the value. XXEO, how much are we saying for an XXEO driver? 197, that's not a bad start at all for a driver that was quite expensive when it was brand new. Also a lot here from Honda, the TW World drivers, 199 for that one. That's a really nice looking driver as well. That's a shame, because that would have been a nice option to go with. We'll put the head cover back on. This might be the one that I've tested actually, and that £119. Oh, it's not the one I tested. That's a really, really big heavy weight in the toe there. You can see the value of what I mean though. These will have been so expensive when they were brand new. What's this bad boy? That is, see, I'm just looking at price now more than anything. 149. So we have another Honda driver that fits the bill. TR200 460. I mean, to be honest, if you're looking at a driver that looks similar to the COSTCO, this might well be it. I mean, we do have movable weights in here, and of course a movable neck, but on top, that looks really, really similar shape, really similar head design, no carbon crown. But for the price, I'm going to keep looking and just see if there's anything else on this aisle, but I really don't think that represents bad value for money at all. Shrixon have been hit and miss with the drivers. Something like maybe this at £76. Insane. Again, we're not going for the cheapest, we're going for the most comparable. Sub 70 drivers, Wilson, Nike. What can you get from Nike? £107, and this was actually one of the decent drivers that Nike made. So can we get better? I think we can do better than that. 87 quid. See, these are when they went rubbish. I'm going to stay, oh, PXG, let's go there. 179. Oh, so close. 129. Ooh. Right, we have an offering from PXG at 130 quid actually. The PXG 0811X driver, a really, really good looking driver, a brand new grip on it and a 10 size shaft. That for me kind of fills out the bag of what you could potentially get for your money here at Golf Clubs for Cash instead of a Kirkland signature driver. Let's have a look, and we're going to let Chris decide which driver we take instead of the Kirkland driver to compare against it. Chris, there's some really good options here, isn't there? We're covering pretty much all the brands.
There is a good spread.
Which one do you think represents potentially the best, I don't know, the best performance for value out of all these clubs?
What's that? That's the Rogue,
That's the Rogue, yeah. That's probably a personal favourite of mine, just because it was really, really, I mean, Willett still used that for ages, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a lot of players still use that, so.
Good shaft.
Yeah.
Really.
I think the combination of that with the shaft and it being one that tour players did use for a long time, it didn't really change out of that.
And it's probably a similar head to compare, because it's a forgiving head as opposed to maybe a low spin option, which I've gone with others. Really, really good looking head that though, isn't it?
It is a very good looking head, that one. Yeah, there's a, what was that one?
Bit of a sky mark, but does it matter? Dave?
No.
Dave?
Dave, yeah, Dave, are you there? You are watching, Dave, so you're not tricking anyone. Oof, Someone's tried.
Not too bad. I mean, that's the cheapest. That's like 130 quid. But you can get a kind of brand new PXG driver when they throw the offers on, can't you, as well?
Yeah.
So, another interesting one.
I think it has to be the road.
Yeah, I'm glad you've said that, because I think this could be the one that potentially blows them out the water. This still feels relevant to me. It still feels like a modern driver. So guys, there we go. For pretty much exactly the same price, we are going to test the Kirkland Signature driver against what I think is one of the best value second-hand drivers you can get for $199 or £157 or £154 if we are talking in this case. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the results when we do compare this driver both inside and out. And apart from that, I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow where we'll discuss Kirkland irons and you see exactly what you can buy. See you then.